between the videos I have a little bit cleaned up our network. After the UV flatten nodes, what I have done is created the group. It's basically a group that we can refer back to when we need to unwrap it. So after the UV flatten that we did in the last video, all I did is to add a group for each one of these parts. And also where I fused together these points where there's multiple similar parts, I deleted that thing because what we want to copy to point is actually the first one, the unwrapped one. So that was just for the demonstration, so I just fused it, and now whenever we need it, these points are here, so we can duplicate it once we're done with the unwrapping. But one thing I noticed in the last video, that this automatic UV map is actually not that great for us because there are actually overlaps in here. If you go to the UV in display and press on UV overlap, you can see that we have a little bit of overlaps in here and here. So to fix this, let's take a look what's overlapping. I guess this little part is not actually cutting. So what I'm going to do to fix this is actually remove the auto UV node and delete it. What I'm going to put down is a auto seams, and to view our auto seams, what we have to do is let's go to the edge selection, and now what we can do is select plus and put down the seams. You can see we have seams, and if you press on this kind of force color groups in viewport, the seams will automatically update once we change the grain tolerance and merge threshold, so you can visually see the seams of our UV and where we want them. So what I'm going to do, make something that made this, because this object is very straight with the angles, it's pretty easy to create these seams. I think this will be fine. The only negative for this one is this part. So what we could do is exclude the edges of this. So let's put down and select these edges, and let's say do not unwrap these edges. Now let's put down a UV flatten, and with the UV flatten selected nodes, we can cut seams in here, and I'm just going to cut these. I'm going to cut these manually like this. Like that. Now let's take a look at our object, and also remember to add seams with the seams group that we created with auto seams. Now let's put on a repack. Let's make sure UV overlap is connected, and you can see that we no longer have any overlap of the UV seams. So now we can add down UV layout. Like that. And also what I like to do is actually select the, not the back into, but by island position in 3D. This is going to give us a little straight results for our UV seams. What also we should remember to do is create this spread island to available space, and also apply padding between islands and target boundaries. You can see that these islands are not getting any place to sit on. There's no padding, so if we bake out a normal map, there won't be any information for these edges. So let's apply padding between the target boundaries, and like that. Also the island padding might be good enough. Let's see how it breaks out. We can always go back and fix it. So what we have done is the 3 nodes corrected our problems with auto UV node, so this looks pretty much done. And also one thing I forgot to do is show you. I did some cleanup for this model, so after the booleans there might be some nasty edges or parts that are actually left over, so after the clipping it I put down a clean node and removed the generative primitives, so there are no zero area primitives. And also and with divide I triangulated this mesh, which you can do also right at the end of it, but I did it there. Usually these two options are good, slivers and small angles. And also what I did notice that actually was a small part, like with this last node what I did. Let's delete this last node and I'm gonna show you how. Let's say I'm gonna select only the rifle, now delete it. You can see that there's actually a couple of primitives in here, like 14 points. So what I did, just blast it and inverted the selection, so we have only this rifle model. So basically I hope I didn't left you out of the field, anyone, with doing something not on video. But basically the pretty straightforward stuff. But with this UV layout I thought it was valuable to show how to fix if auto UV node is not working out for you. Because the one thing that's not very nice about auto UV, there's actually no options for anything custom to be made inside, so we just have to create our own networks for that if auto UV is not working out for us. So I think we are done for now, and now let's work on actual UV unwrapping together all the objects. Now what I'm going to do, I just created also the base weapon group just because of make it things similar and we can visually see everything. So this is just the base group for this. So what I'm going to do now is put down a merge node. What you want to do is merge together all the parts that we want to unwrap. We want to base one-sided details, group 1, which is, you know what, let's call it, I haven't named it, small circle 3, small circle 2, and 1. So what we have left is this object, which we are not going to unwrap together with this, because first of all we already have space for it and we don't need to normal bake it because it's so small and normal won't do anything for it. It's already a complex object and there's no point of baking out a normal web for it. So, and also this last part that's kind of left over. So this is all we want to bake. What we're going to do now is put down a soft and normals, and with soft and normals selected, put on hard and UV seams. And if our UVs are fine, we won't even have to work with this soft angle. We just have to just put back on. We have basically seams where we want them, and all the hard seams where we want them to for our object. Now what we're gonna do is split this whole object into two different groups, which I'm going to call them low and high priority. So we can prioritize UV space because, let's say, in phases like inside this weapon, we won't really see, and it's going to take up only the UV space that we can save up for the outer parts of the weapon that someone actually is going to see. So what to do that, we just have to put down a group, and what I'm going to do is just go into primitive selection mode, select on this, select group by connected geometry, and in this you can see UV connected geometry, press on it, you can see that you are now selecting the UV shells that are connected together in a UV map, which we are yet to unwrap, but since we have cut them individually, they are working as intended. So what I'm going to do is make sure you are selecting this, only the, what's called, select visible geometry only. What I'm going to do is just start selecting these faces. And to fix up our faces that we selected outside, just going to quickly go and deselect them because it is easier to deselect those who we don't need. So I'm just going here, in here, and we can easily select these because we don't see those faces inside. So maybe something like this. Let's let them, the ones in the bottom can probably stay. So I think this should be fine. Maybe this one also, this one. It is cut in front of it, so maybe these two. Yeah, these inside can definitely be lower resolution. Maybe even this, because if you think about it, the most likely angle that you're going to see the weapon is going to be from here, and all of these back faces are not really all that important. So okay, we have selected our low poly. So we could have done this with this button, but I'm going to do is just go to this window and copy selection string and just go to the page group and copy and key, and now we have copied our selection into our group. Now we have our low priority group, let's call it that. To create our high priority, what I'm going to do is just put down a group combine node. Let's call it high prior and first one equals all but and press on low prior. So what we have is just inverted this group. So we have low and high priority group. Now let's do the actual unwrapping of this object. Let's put down the UV layout node. One thing we want to do before all this, we want to move out of our UV packing space all of our islands, so that do they not interfere with each other when we are packing each group separately. So put down another UV layout, and with this let's start with low priority polygons. Some of the options, make sure you scale islands to their surface area, and let's say you want let's put on grid snapping, and let's make them maybe in the very last part of the UV space. So remember, we want this space left remain empty because we have these small parts packed into them. So we want to pack both of these groups into this space except for this one. So this we're going over low priority islands are going to sit. Also, maybe let's put on by island position in 3D, and let's apply padding between islands. Island padding should be fine. Now let's put down under the UV layout. In here, let's select the high priority. Let's avoid packing our non-group islands. And now let's just move these away from the low priority. So we have this space left left unpacked, and also scale islets to their surface area. Same thing with the 3D position. So this is going to be our high priority UV map. Make sure there's enough wall space and enough padding between islands. So our UV map picks out nicely. So I think for now we're done with the UV unwrapping. Now let's get to baking out. Also let's put down a visualize UVs. Let's this one. You can see that we have different resolution UVs. In here there's bigger chunks, and outside there's smaller ones. Now let's get to normal baking. Let's delete these visualize UVs. First of all, let's take a look at our. Let's put down a quick material. In quick material, maybe something darker color. There's rounded shader edge radius. Let's put something like 87. Let's take a look how our baking would look like. In the render view, select scene U1 and just press on render. Also remember to put down a render flag on a quick material node so it shows the result of that node. Okay, so we have our rounded shader. If you change this amount, you can see we're getting bigger or smaller rounded edge look. So I think this should be pretty nice, just a little bit of roundedness so it doesn't look so simple, and a little bit of roundness to it. So this should be fine. Okay, so let's stop rendering, back to the view. Let's explode this mesh. Make sure every part is in its own place. One thing I'm noticing is that these buttons are not actually exploding, so I'm just gonna do is quick and dirty, just manually move them away, like that. Maybe this one too. Okay, so we have exploded our weapon. Now what we want to do is this quick material, pipe into the exploded mesh, and put down a baker, simple baker. You want to use the one with the t-shirt on it, or whatever this is on, like a bread or something. So let's put on a low and high our quick material. You want to use this node because it is using mantra for the round the shaded cooking. So once you have piped them in, everything looks at the default. So let's put on render and see you on the other side. So the baking is done. Let's disable expel view mesh. Let's take a look at our bake. You can see we have baked out these very nice looking soft edges on our weapon. It's gonna look a lot nicer when we put on our materials on. So now all we have to do is put together this weapon. Let's start with copying back the circular details back on our model. Let's put down a copy to point. Type in this layout in the first one, and let's select the small circle one. Let's get back to our top of it, and you see that small circle one will be this fuse tree. So let's put it here. Let's duplicate it. So this is the one. Let's select. Now let's select 2 and pipe in 2. Duplicate it. Let's select 3 and pipe in the third one. like that. Now we can also merge these together and take a look. We have copied them back. The only thing we can do is orient some of these pieces back in the right place, so that we're gonna do a little bit later. So these are pieces and this is our original. Take these two and merge them together also, like that. And to let's orient some of these pieces back in their place. So what I have to do is, seems like these two pieces are kinda in the wrong place. So what we want to do is do it in the top of it, this one. So when we mirror it, it's going to look right. So let's select this, select this, select group, connect geometry, and I just also I'm gonna automatic upload. Just quick and dirty, move them like that. And I think we're done for the orienting of the pieces. Also, let's not forget about our part that we did not unwrap, the small wires. So just pipe into the merge node with all the circles. And this shows black, so put down a normal node before, so we get shading on it, like that. And our edits are still gonna be there. So what we need to do now is mirror the base shape of it and copy details. So I'm going to do this. Let's mirror it here. Let's mirror the base shape. And in a group, select the base shape. So now what we have done is duplicated it. Also remember this is exactly how we imported it. It was a little bit out of it. So what we can do is before the merge, let's take out the merge and maybe get inside a little bit of inside of it. So like that, so it doesn't show up like that. And the only thing we have left to do is to delete these small parts so that they do not export. So just select them and delete them. And this is our done object. And this baked out map that we have, let's go to the Substance Painter and take a look at it. In the Substance Painter, you can see our UVs are just exactly how we made them in Houdini, with the bigger and the smaller areas. And if you take a look and start painting over them, you can see we have mirroring our islands and also our shading. Let's put down only in 3D view. You can see we're getting very, very nice soft look to it. Let's disable the normal map. What a difference it makes. Let's take out some of the. It is a 2K texture. Let's put on some smart materials. Take a look how it would look with the maybe something like iron. Yeah, getting some nice results with the normal map, fiberglass. So I think that's it for this tutorial. Subscribe for more and see you later.